Alright guys, so today's video is going to be on what I consider a hidden gem in the true wireless earbud market. The pair that we're going to talk about are the Calcini Sweat Pro 3. Now first off, I'm not a huge fan of the Sweat Pro name. I don't know, it's just something not appealing about having a product named Sweat Pro. But we're going to talk about this mainly because I test out a lot of budget true wireless earbuds, and a lot of them really just aren't good. They don't sound good, they don't really hold up well, or they don't have features that just make it worth your while. But this pair has some interesting things about it, and it only comes in at 20 bucks. So we're gonna talk about those features, we're gonna talk about what all comes inside the box, we're gonna talk about the sound, and see why I think this is a hell of a deal coming in at that 20 bucks. Now to start with, what really caught my attention is they come in rated at IPX8. So it means that they're completely waterproof. And I know a lot of people that use earbuds or headphones are always looking for maybe a backup pair to use at the gym or while they're outdoors or at the beach or just any situation where they don't want to use their more expensive earbuds. And this pair also has a low latency gaming mode. And again, people are always looking for earbuds to use for watching movies and videos and gaming and things like that. And usually, you can do this, but it's with more expensive pairs. You usually have to have something that has an app where you can switch it over into a low latency mode. Now this pair does not work with an app, but you can switch it into this low latency mode, and I didn't notice any lag with movies, videos, and there is just a slight lag when it came to gaming. So this already made this appealing that you can use it with all those different types of media. Now, as far as the technology itself, it does have Bluetooth 5.1. Now, there is only AAC and SBC playback, so as expected, there's no high-end Bluetooth codec playback here, but I didn't have any compression when it came to the audio. Everything came through very clean, and this pair also had a solid connection. I didn't have any kind of dropouts or anything like that while I was testing them. Now, as far as what all they've included inside the box, they do come with the usual small, medium, and large silicone ear tips, but this pair also comes with 3 sets of wingtips. Now, that is a huge plus because if you are looking to use this pair at the gym or while running or anything like that, those wingtips keep these in place where you can shake your head, you can jump or do whatever, and they didn't move at all. So again, this is a huge plus. Now, as far as the charging cable, it does come with a USB-C cable. You are going to have to use this cable because, again, as expected in this price range, there's no Qi wireless charging on this pair. But speaking of the charging, battery life is just decent. Now, this isn't going to blow anybody away by any means, but on the earbuds themselves, you can get about 5 hours, where with the charging case, you're going to get about 25 hours total. And going back to using these at the gym or running and things like that, most people aren't going to need more than 5 hours at a time, so this will definitely do the job. Now, it says it has fast charging, but I really don't consider this a fast charge because it takes 15 minutes to charge to get an hour's worth of use. Now, I'm used to seeing 5 minutes will give you an hour, or 10 minutes can give you 2 hours or 3 hours, but 15 minutes to get an hour, that's just charging the earbuds in general. Now, moving over to looking at the case and the earbuds themselves, the case is relatively small, it's very compact, it's easy to throw in your pocket. Now, there is a little cover that covers the USB-C port on the side. I am not a huge fan of this. I don't like when there's these little flaps that cover the charging ports, although I do understand their purpose, but these things usually just break off or wear over time. Now, on the front, there is 4 indicator lights, and this allows you to see how much battery life is left on the case, because if there's 1 light lit up, you have 25%. If you have 2 lights, you have about 50. And it's just very convenient to kind of keep up with how much battery life you have on your case. Now, moving over to looking at the earbuds are small. They're really lightweight, and again, because of those wingtips, they fit in my ear pretty nicely, and I never had any issue with comfort, and I never actually worried that they were gonna fall out of my ears. And it also has a little light strip on the outside. Now, this isn't a light that's just constantly staying on the whole time that you're using them, but this is where it lights up once you put them in pairing mode. It also lights up once you open the case to let you know if they are paired or not. So it is just a nice subtle touch. Now, as far as the controls on this pair, they do use touch controls, and I'm happy to say that they give you control over everything. So on top of the usual play, pause, skipping your tracks forward, going backwards, and your volume control, this is also where you can switch these into that low latency or gaming mode. But again, like I've said in previous videos, if you use a low latency mode, it is going to cut down on your battery life, and it's also going to cut down on how far you can actually get from your device. But again, I've always said if you're using this mode, you're watching a movie or gaming, so your device is pretty much going to be right there in front of you anyways. Now, as far as the microphones on this pair, this is probably one of the weakest points of these earbuds. I think it sounds fine. I just don't think it's one of the best mics that I've heard on earbuds. And I still think it's doing a pretty decent job of blocking out surroundings if you're going to use them in busy environments. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. So here is the mic test using the Sweat Pro 3s. And again, in this price range, I think this mic is going to be fine for most phone calls. I really don't see anybody on the other end of a call having an issue, but this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here is a mic test with a crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. So now let's talk about the sound. The sound on these is very loud and it is boomy as hell. This is like a bass lover's dream, especially if you're somebody that likes listening to music, let's say like in a car with a subwoofer. If you just like that over exaggerated bass, something that you can feel a little bit more than just hear, this definitely checks the box of being one of the most bass heavy earbuds that I've tested. And again, because it's only $20, I thought that was quite impressive, especially if you are looking for this type of earbud. But when it came to the mids and the treble, I still felt like they came through very cleanly. But because of the bass being the way that it is, the sound has a slightly warmer tone to it. So I feel like in a way, it's kind of holding back the treble a little bit. It's also kind of holding back the mids in a way where there's not this brightness to it or this sharp sound. It just kind of has more of a natural tone where everything is coming through clearly. It's just not as bright. And because this pair has that really boomy bass, I would have liked to have seen the treble be slightly brighter. And this pair doesn't have any kind of app to EQ these. Again, you can always download a third-party app to do this, but because it's a boomy pair of earbuds, I think it's going to scare away a lot of people that just want a flatter or a more brighter sounding earbud. Now, when it comes to the Soundstage and the sound imaging, that bass heavy sound is making it sound like there's two large speakers in front of you. So it doesn't sound as wide open as a lot of the other earbuds that I test. But when it comes to being able to tell where sounds are coming from, it does do a fairly decent job at this. I'm able to tell if things are coming from the left or the right or anything like that. It just doesn't sound like there's as much space as the more open sounding earbuds. So my overall opinion is this. I think this is a hell of a bargain coming in at 20 bucks, whether you're looking for a backup pair or even a pair as your main pair and you don't want to spend a whole lot of money. This isn't one of those cheap earbuds that sounds cheap, or you feel like you're having to give up a lot of features, because it is completely waterproof, which just gives you peace of mind that you can use them in a bunch of situations. I do wish that there was some EQing options to kind of hold down the bass a little bit or brighten up the treble, but overall, you're getting that low latency gaming mode, which is extremely nice. The wingtips keep these in your ears, so you don't have to worry about them falling out or moving around. And the sound signature is a very consumer-friendly sound signature. I mean, it is a boosted bass. It's meant to just sound fun, which again, if you're using these at the gym, this is a pair that keeps you motivated, and I understand its purpose. And although the price tag is what initially caught my attention, the features definitely impressed me in this price range, but I was really impressed with the sound that I was getting and the fit and the different ways that I was able to use this, and I didn't see this as a cheap pair of earbuds. So that $20 price tag makes this an easy pair to recommend. But guys, that wraps up my video on the Calcini Sweat Pro 3s. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.